2, 1.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome to Game of Thrones Book Club, where we sit down, we discuss mostly 100 pages, but this week just like 70, of George R. R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series. We are on the second book, A Clash of Kings. We read less pages because it's The House of the Undying, and I'm James.
I'm James.
I'm Chelsea.
I'm Joel.
And that's our names. How's everyone doing?
Yeah.
Sorry for the very late stream and the very late notice about the time shift. We went to LA's airport, LAX.
Yeah, we went and protested the Muslim ban because I found out there was a protest yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, so maybe.
I saw a count of 4,000. I don't know if you saw
Oh,
the
really?
numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are protests going on in a lot of cities with major airports.
Mm-hmm. Also, a note. I'm working from home today. I believe I've finished my work, but if I get an email or a text, I might have to run off and handle that. So you might be sans James for some of it. Oh man, my voice is mostly gone from that protest.
I was thinking about that, but I think
right.
it was a small price to pay.
Yep.
It was good. It was
For
a good
freedom. So we are going to start with Daenerys 4, aka House of the Undying.
House of the Undying.
Oh, let's do sigil first, real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have a
Yeah.
sigil.
We have a sigil.
This is from Elizabeth Queen. Bam.
Ooh.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Sorry,
This
Lucy's
one's very
eating
s-
styrofoam.
This is very sigilly. See? Don't eat styrofoam.
Anybody hear that? Lucy
Don't
meows.
eat styrofoam.
You'd think she wouldn't like the sound. So Elizabeth Queen, thank you for the sigil. It's very sigilly. We're going to keep that up in the corner.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm still mic so you can hear me.
Ooh, that's sweet
And
styrofoam.
all those styrofoam noises.
Anyone? Oh,
Oh.
Chelsea.
Did I do?
Oh, no.
I did that. They can
Oh.
still hear us. Though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, it's
okay.
back.
We're all right.
You have to stay there now. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did
Alright.
that. Sorry.
All right.
Great.
Chat's not on screen. You're right. It's not.
Oh,
I
thank
can do
you.
that real quick.
If you are artistically inclined, or maybe even if you're not, you can send us.
That's not happening live.
Good
That was
jump,
when it
Lucy.
happened
Okay.
a minute ago.
You can send us a sigil as well. practicalfolks@gmail.com. So yeah, do that and be our friend. We'll feature it. We'll mention your name. We'll say thank you,
Mhm.
and we'll really appreciate it. TBH.
You say appreciate?
Appreciate.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate?
Appreciate. it.
Appreciate it.
Got it.
Great jump, Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy's going crazy over there. She's gonna fall right into the camera.
Oh my god.
All right. Should
All
we
right.
start?
All right, let's get started.
Are we
since
gonna
it's so
talk
late.
about how we're doing this?
Yeah, that's
Because
what I was
this
gonna
is-
do.
Yes, please. Yes.
So we're going to go through House of the Undying.
And I'll be here the entire time.
We're going to talk about as much as we can with Joel, who, if you're new to this is his first time through the books. We've all read them at least once. Gressel's read them more times than he's said "I love you" to his wife.
That's not true.
So we're gonna go through it once with Joel and dissect all the visions and stuff in a non-spoilery way. Joel has seen the show. We all have.
So it'll be show spoilers.
We do show
Probably.
spoilers on this stream. So if you've never seen the show,
This is
sorry.
a
Show
bad-
spoilers.
this is a bad
Spoiler warning.
episode.
Yeah.
But if you're new to the books like Joel here, there are a bunch of things that happen in the books that don't happen in the show, and we're gonna send Joel off
Yeah.
so that he doesn't get spoiled about those things. And this is the chapter with the most prophecies, dreams, visions
Yeah.
out of the whole series, probably.
Yeah,
So.
it's pretty stacked.
The other thing we're going to do is we're going to look specifically at what we think is going on in the text. We're going to try not to engage too much about whether or not it's correct
Okay.
or not. You know what I mean?
But
so-
and it's also like it's prophecy. You can interpret it a lot
Right.
of ways.
Yeah, I think it's
So-
intended that way.
We're probably not going to be engaging about what this isn't like. Is this person, from this place, or have we met this person yet? These aren't like facts, so we're not going to be corrected in the chat. Do you have to work?
She asked if anyone else has notes, so I'll wait like 10 minutes to see if anyone else has notes.
Sure.
And then I'll go address
Okay.
these.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's start.
Let's get
I'm
going.
concerned about how long House of the Undying is gonna take.
House of the Undying.
I'd say let's just take it. Let's just see what happens. I'm excited.
Oh, people do want some Joel predictions, which I think would be interesting.
Yeah.
We can do Joel predictions.
Yeah, I'm
Sure.
We'll just
There'll
not
be
comment on them.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump in here. She goes to the House of the Undying. Jorah and her Dothraki and Zaro Zondaxos are like, no, it's dumb.
Yeah.
But Pyapri is like, no, coming back.
Fake
I
prophecies.
have a lot of thoughts on Pyapri.
Yeah?
Mostly, like, what's the deal with Pyapri?
Why does he take her inside?
Yeah, we were having a discussion about him and why.
That's a good question.
Like, what does he get,
What
out,
does
of
he
this?
get out of
What
this?
is the House of the Undying? Why is he a thing? Why?
What's the end goal here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
What's
The
the
motivations
deal
are different from the show.
with
Yes.
Pyapri?
He's not an Undying.
No.
He's a warlock.
No.
Yes.
Separate faction.
Yeah, so, like,
The Warlocks support the Undying.
We don't know.
they were acolytes because they also have the
know.
blue lips. That's
Right.
what I was
Positive?
thinking. No,
Is the
I'm
goal-
just
Is the goal of a
theorizing.
Warlock to become an Undying?
It's like a.
Well, here's a question. So
Well-
we're gonna get to what happens, what they try to do to Dany by the end of the chapter.
yeah. I just-
Has anyone else ever gone in? If so, no one possesses the unique special powers or magic of Dany. So, what else would they gain from anyone else?
I was starting to toe the waters of why don't they just kill her and take the dragon?
No.
Which
Yeah.
was a debate that we had, and I was starting to like almost move into that territory because I didn't understand why they let her go inside with a dragon. Because the dragon is
That
how she
was
gets
dumb.
out. It was dumb.
So, okay.
Or was it very smart?
Or was it. Okay, did they need that dragon in there for whatever reason?
Right. That's
think-
why I want answers.
I think they needed the
Oh, it was dumb on their part.
Yeah,
The goal-
and they just didn't expect it to breathe fire. And
Is
kill
the
them.
dragon still the goal, like on the show, but in a different way? It's not they're all conspiring to steal the dragon.
I don't know if
they
the
just want the
dragon-
they want her perpetually trapped in this place with the dragon, so they can use the dragon as like a generator.
I thought maybe
Yeah.
they were gonna turn her into an Undying.
Yeah, because it seemed like
That'd be good for their.
I don't think that they cared so much about the
Sure.
dragon, but they cared about her. But the way they were closing in on her, they're trying to bite her eyes.
But
they
I
wanted to
think that-
consume her in some way. I
I
thought.
think that that's in an effort to keep her there, under the assumption that the dragons are somehow bound to her. I think the goal. I think is to use the dragons as a magic generator.
I wonder then why there was not more of an effort to get the other two dragons to come as well.
Maybe that would be too dangerous in their calculations.
Sure.
I don't know.
I don't
It's
know.
a lot of what ifs.
Well, let's talk
Why
about
bugs
just
me.
the beginning before Dany goes in. I just wonder if Pyapri was waiting for an entrance line to come in really dramatically, because he just appears out of nowhere, right, to say, Queen Daenerys must enter alone or not at all. Just when they're debating, like, well, do you go in with us? Do you not? He's just like,
Yeah.
hey, I'm
He's
by a
just
tree.
He's sitting there behind a tree, like,
Yeah.
gonna wait until they say something cool.
Yeah.
James has to go work.
Damn.
Oh, damn it.
Yep.
Hurry back, my
It's
lord.
weird.
I'd complain more if it wasn't such a sweet job.
Yeah.
Do we ever see other warlocks or just Pyapri?
I don't remember.
On the
I think
show we do.
No, on the show. Well, they all look like
That's true.
Pyapri though. I don't have any memory of it. I'll say that.
Okay.
I think I like how there's I think it's interesting right before she goes in, talking about before she goes in, at the top of 697, Ago says, Khaleesi said that many go into this place of dust, but few come out, and then Jago agreed, it is said. So I think it's interesting from a writing perspective right off the bat, something that George could be doing here is twisting the common phrase that we've come to know and love, it is known, and introducing some ambiguity with it is said.
Yeah.
And it is
Oh,
said is
interesting.
not it is known. It's
Yeah.
something that's assumed but not for sure. So I really enjoyed that.
Is the implication of that the Dothraki would not have had any knowledge of Karth or the House of the Undying until they got to the city?
Yes, I believe that in a literal sense that's what it's doing, but I think literarily it's George cluing us in that the things that we're about to experience are unknowns.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
yeah.
Yeah. because even they are afraid of it, and they're willing. I think like they're enough creeped out by it that they're willing to take the words of non-Dothraki who have
sure.
said scary things about it.
My other question, I guess, before we start actually talking about what's inside is why she like sees a door and he's like, no, the front way leads in but never out again. But if he wants to keep her there, I don't know, I just have a lot of questions about like why.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
He's
Why
giving
would-
her good advice,
yeah, why
like
is he
always
giving
follow
her
the
an
door to the
exit?
right.
Why even give her a way she can get out?
I think he's just kind of covering his, like, I think it's like a disclaimer. Like, I don't think they expect, I think he's banking on the fact that the delights she sees within will ensnare her,
Right.
you know?
But then
And it nearly does.
yeah, but then when she leaves, he tries to kill her.
Yeah, because doesn't she destroy the Undying?
Oh, I
Yes.
guess, yeah, that would change. That'd be like,
Yeah,
oh,
it'd be like, well,
okay,
now
fair.
what?
What if there's a kernel of truth in the false...
Colonel Truth?
Yes. In the false vision of the very perfect Undying ones, and they say that you've passed all the tests, so you're worthy enough to receive our knowledge or gifts. So maybe they needed her to pass those tests in order for... I'm not sure what it gains them that she passed all of them. What's different about her then versus if she'd just gone into any of the other doors.
I wonder if George R. R. Martin's ever said.
What the Undying's
Yeah,
goal is?
like has ever given any answers, and like how lame would that question be at like a fan Q&A? Like, yes,
What's the
George,
goal of
I
the
have a
Undying?
question about the house.
Hang
of the
on.
Undying. Everyone's like, oh.
What are their motivations?
Yeah.
Explain a song of ice and fire.
Explain Pyre to me, please, George.
There's so much. So it seems like the Undying have been that way for a very long time, and the warlocks come and go.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That I believe that's correct. That's my understanding of it.
Okay. Now before
Not every warlock is gets to be an Undying.
yes, I do also wonder if it's something that he's working towards, and
Pyre.
yeah.
He needs like 4 more credits.
Yeah, and maybe he's not really allowed to drink fully of the shade of the evening, but this is just makeup.
Yeah. Shade of the Evening sounds cool. It's weird because I just imagine like what is it that she sees that's like an effective Shade of the Evening?
I
and
liked
what's
the
real?
description of when she first drinks it.
Yeah.
Top of $6.99.
Top of $6.99. The first sip tasted like ink and spoiled meat fallow, but when she swallowed it, it seemed to come to life within her. Similar to mushrooms?
I don't know. You tell us.
And
I have thoughts about this when
Yeah.
Joel's gone.
and she could feel tendrils spreading through her chest like fingers of fire coiling around her heart, and her tongue was a taste like honey, anise, and cream. Anise.
Anise?
Sure, anise, however you want to say
Anise?
it. Is a flavor profile often found in absinthe,
Yeah.
which
Liquor.
I thought was interesting. Yes, and so I wonder if there's some sort of like wormwoody kind of elements to whatever Shade of the Evening is made from. Absinthe doesn't have hallucinogenic properties,
Yeah.
but
it's not like in Moulin Rouge.
yeah.
That movie's fake.
but nonetheless, that stood out to me.
Damn, I'm pissed that we didn't make Shade of the Evening for this episode.
Oh, that
would have
would've
been
been
cool to have
fun.
like shots.
Like blue.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Sweet.
We
was.
should have all just had lollipops, the blueberry kind.
Yeah, have our
Blue,
tongues
yeah.
be purple.
It's go ahead.
Yeah. Oh no, I was just gonna say I love this chapter so much. It's so much better than the show. Like, I remember getting to this in the book the first time and being like, "This is so fucking cool." Although I get why they didn't do it like this in the show.
Yeah, there's so much, and who knows where they thought the show would go at that point.
Exactly. There's so much foreshadowing.
I understand it from an adaptation perspective.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit off mic about it, but it is frustrating. The thing that really frustrates me is they still could have done the actual representation of the Undying. Like that didn't have to change.
Mm-hmm. It's just it's all pipe freeze.
It's just like
There's a
it's
bunch
just like
of pipe freeze at a
shitty,
table.
like
like no.
easy effects.
Yeah.
Like we could do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
And you lose, like, the Alice in Wonderland kind of feel in the show. I like
Sure.
that this reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. She has to, like, drink something, and then there's, like, riddles and shit, like the door on the right, but she realizes, oh, she has to turn around to... I wonder
Yeah.
if the, No, never mind. Although, okay, thought I had. Because we had Quaithe last reading, right, where she says to go forward, you must go back.
Yes.
I feel like the doors are kind of like a to go forward, you must go back kind of thing. Because she has to
I was
turn
looking
around.
out for that too. Yeah.
Yeah, she has to turn around to go through the first door on the right, which...
First door on the left, or last door on the left.
First door on the right.
First door on the right,
Right.
is the last door on the left. Yeah.
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 I also thought, to your point about what the Shade of the Evening actually does, there are times when she thinks about this is geographically or this is geometrically impossible, like stairs going up that she knows
Oh,
there are
the
no
building is.
yeah, there are no towers.
Yeah.
She takes 4 rights and is in a new place.
Sure.
So that's interesting to me.
I love it. It's
Because
so cool.
is it magic or is it a hallucination?
Yeah.
Is it both?
I wonder if the Shade of the Evening is more like it unlocks the things that are specific to her. Like if someone else was walking through with her, they wouldn't see.
They'd have a
They'd
different
have like different visions.
Yeah, because
Sure.
she is, when she drinks it, it's all the tastes she had ever known and none of them. Like she's rich in her memories because she's
Yeah.
talking about mother's milk, red meat, hot blood, molten gold.
Yeah, but then I think like the weird hallways that don't make sense are just like magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
James
know if
isn't here to snort.
yeah. All right, should we like get into
Oh,
it?
I had one question that's still pre her getting into it. What or who is the snoutish servant? Like,
I
is that a
know.
person?
Where's the snoutish servant?
He gives her the Shade of the
Oh.
Evening, and I'm wondering if it's the same type of, I don't want to refer like a creature as the 4 like rat-faced men in that room that she
Oh.
sees.
She does say that they are like the servitor who had brought her the glass of
Yeah.
shade.
So is it like, I don't know. That weirds me out too.
Oh, the smallest dwarf Danny
Yeah.
had ever seen. Right.
And it made me think of the people who breed Zorses, the Jogus Nye, because they are human, but they pinch their heads, so they come to a point. And I wondered if this servant's face being pinched and pointed, snoutish, was that natural?
something
Or was
done
that,
at,
yeah.
when they were
Oh,
like newly born
interesting.
to like the people who like flatten their heads and
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
So
Interesting.
they're just, it's just like a flash of an Ugnaught, and you're like, wait, what is that? And then you move on to more interesting things.
Yeah, they're just it's like a weird
Yeah.
thing. I guess let's get right to the visions though. I mean,
Yeah.
so she goes through the hall. That's like last door on the left, right, first door on the right.
There are sounds coming from inside the closed doors before she gets to an
Yeah,
open one.
which is cool.
Not all the doors were closed. Danny told us so, but the temptation was too strong. We're on 700, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first door. In one room, a beautiful woman sprawled naked on the floor while 4 little men crawled over her. They had reddish pointed faces and tiny pink hands like the servant who had brought her the glass of shade. One was pumping between her thighs, another savaged her breasts, worrying at nipples with his wet red mouth, tearing and chewing. Okay, how did you guys interpret this?
I look at it and I think this is the way that most people see it, as the war over Westeros.
Yes, I agree.
I also agree.
I did read some other really interesting interpretations of this, although I don't think there's a direct equivalent for it in the series. So some people think it might be referring to a female character that obviously Dany wouldn't recognize because she's never met them. And
Sure.
maybe it's someone who, by the end of the series, will have 4 husbands and will be very important, like Sansa or Marjorie.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which, yeah, I think is, or 4 like lovers or something. Or just 4 men who take advantage of her.
Yeah, because it's not a. So there are 4 kings left at this point, but this room doesn't make a specific mention to a 5th little man like in the corner or dead or somewhere. So it's interesting.
James, do your work.
Oh, so you think that the analogy of it's the war over Westeros is like not, it doesn't quite work for you?
No, I think it does, but I hadn't thought about your point of one woman and a series of relationships with men. So I thought that was interesting too, because they're not all. If you want to think of war as tearing apart the country, and the country is this woman, they're not all tearing. Like one, I don't know if it's consensual or not. Like one is like tearing away at her, but the other one is doing something else.
Yeah, I think. Okay, so my interpretation of the two that are doing things is Stannis and Joffrey. Like those are the two who are like causing problems. Like Balon's causing problems, obviously, but it's really more Theon, and Robb isn't really. Well, I mean, nobody's doing good things, but like comparatively.
Well, Balon also he's capturing the north. That's.
But Theon did that. Like Balon would be like harrying the stony shore.
But Balon also would have captured Deepwood Mott and.
Sure, but.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Theon wouldn't have really been involved had he gotten there. Like Balon would have done it anyway.
I just think that like it's interesting that she mentions it could be nothing too, but I just think it's interesting that George chooses to mention two specific of the four who are doing things, and we know, especially we know that there is the shadow baby that presumably was created.
Yeah.
Through some thigh pumping.
Yeah. And one of the kings, and show spoilers, so I don't give a fuck, Joffrey is going to die with like a wet red mouth.
That's true.
Because of poison.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
Yeah, I find it interesting that show Stannis, it makes sense with him, but we don't.
We never got a scene of that in the
books.
books.
We don't specifically yet, as far as I know, have a scene of him creating a shadow baby through sex.
No, we don't, but we do get Melisandre pregnant and birthing.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's an inference, and it is informed by the show a little bit, but I think that nonetheless, that was my interpretation of it, where, and especially considering that in the grand scheme of things, Robb and Balon are rather ineffectual.
That's true. Like they're not as important.
So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, there's also the geographic interpretation of like where on this woman, from north to south, are they causing issues?
That's true. Like more descriptions.
Oh
George.
no.
So,
yeah, if the north is up here, maybe
so
Joffrey's
it's like
here.
Riverlands, Stormlands.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Thanks for.
Dorne's just massaging her feet.
Yeah. What do we think about the notion of George gendering Westeros?
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Like we call America she.
Yeah. Boats.
Yeah.
Like that's all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that that's. The motherland. Or like sometimes it's fatherland. I guess it's cultural. It's also it could be something like Dany projecting, that it's her homeland. She as a woman is seeing it as a woman.
Yeah, that's interesting. And looking upon these men who are tearing it apart, and she would treat it with more respect.
Right.
Should we move to the next one? This
Yeah.
one.
Is that all just the one?
That was one.
That was
like,
pre. Guys, House of Undying is gonna take forever. So
I think we should
we'll speed it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think we should go down the line for things that are relevant to read.
Like that was the most obvious one too, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, but it's fun to talk over this.
No, yeah.
All right. So I think we should each take a turn reading the visions.
Okay.
Go
Here, I
for
can.
it.
Yeah, I'll read this one. Farther on, she came upon a feast of corpses. Savagely slaughtered, the feasters lay strewn across overturned chairs and hacked trestle tables, asprawl in pools of congealing blood. Some had lost limbs, even heads. Severed hands clutched bloody cups, wooden spoons, roast fowl, heels of bread. In a throne above them sat a dead man with the head of a wolf. He wore an iron crown and held a leg of lamb in one hand, as a king might hold a scepter, and his eyes followed Dany with mute appeal.
Obviously Red Wedding.
Yeah.
Although,
Oh yeah, this is your yeah.
yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on it because it just gets into like, well, what if this? We don't really
Sure.
know. I read something very interesting about how this may represent something that hasn't happened yet. And one of the things that made me kind of think twice about it is the Iron Crown. Rob doesn't wear an Iron Crown. He specifically wears a bronze crown, and it's
No,
described.
it's iron with bronze points. It's 2 metals.
I can't confirm that.
I
don't
cannot
know.
confirm.
I thought it was
nor
like
deny
it's like
that.
bronze with like runes in it. But
That's true.
anyway,
Just checking. But also, isn't it as specific as like lamb is served at the Red Wedding?
lamb is not.
Oh, it's not.
No.
So here's
That's another thing.
Oh.
They don't eat out of wooden bowls, wooden spoons. So like, what are all these little things?
I mean, the wolf head's pretty.
I know the wolf head, but
Well, here's my thought on that. So these specifics, they mention that it is a feast.
Yeah.
And the hands are clutching the food and cups and bowls. The king is holding the leg of lamb as a scepter, as if it would wield power.
Oh, it's
As-
iron.
it is iron.
Yeah.
So it's as if the leg
Show
of
me.
lamb.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So it's as if the leg of lamb is something that gives power to him and will protect him. The same with the people who are reaching and still as they're dead clutching to these things that might save them. Like, you know, once you come into a castle and you have guest right, that the guest right should protect them, but it has not.
Yeah.
Also, okay, I not lamb is served. Is roast fowl served at the Red Wedding?
Oh, that's in Storm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But Iron
But
King,
I
Iron
liked
Crown
the
is-
theory I saw someone point out, so I can't take credit for this, but that this might represent a revenge by someone who could also qualify as a king with a wolf head.
Is that something we'll talk without Joel?
No, something that like hasn't happened in the books at all yet.
Oh, okay.
So it's just speculation that it could be like a mirror event of the Red
Oh,
Wedding
that
that's
is
bigger. That's
misinterpreted?
like bigger in the scope of the series than the Red
Jeez.
Wedding.
That'd have to be pretty damn big.
And I would argue that this is one of a couple of places where it references things that are totally unrelated to Dany, or seemingly. But I think that with everything else representing a part of her past or present, that this is connected to her in some way. And the Red Wedding is not.
That's. Okay. Oh, sorry.
That's why, yeah, that's another reason I think like maybe it's something else
Thank you,
that is
Caitlin
going to
Cherry.
happen. I don't know.
Yeah, just adding to your point, Chelsea, earlier, that James, you might have missed, that we were thinking that the shade of the evening, it's different for everyone. It's going to give each person different specific visions.
Okay.
Because she's thinking a lot when she drinks it of her memories, and we think it could be related just to her.
Got it. Okay. So, then she goes into a room. Oh, that
House
is
of the Red Door.
yeah, the House
Yeah.
of the Red Door, which is her place in Bravos.
Sir Willem Derry.
I don't know how much there is to read in that.
Yeah,
it's,
I didn't
it's the
underline
house
too
she
much.
grew
The
up
only
in,
thing that I
Bravos.
thought was interesting there is that she refers to him as a sweet old bear, but Jorah is an old bear,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he died a long time ago. I think that I mean, like, yes, Sir Willem Derry died a long time ago, but like,
What do bears have to do with dairies?
right? So
So that's a temptation of the past, and there for comfort.
sure.
Can we show my
Oh, yeah.
taxonomy?
Oh gosh.
Boy.
So I broke down visually, because I needed this, what all of the visions are. And I think it covers just about everything.
Jeez, how many
I can't
Venns are
read it from
diagramming
over
here,
here.
man?
It'll be bigger when it pops up here.
Yeah.
Here,
So
I
yeah,
can
take a
do
look,
here
guys.
too.
If that helps
Oh,
your
you're
way
not
of-
gonna, you're just gonna throw this up to the.
No. Okay, so also for podcast too. So the way I see it, there are tests that she has to pass.
Yeah, Joel's the only thing on screen out.
There are tests that she has to pass, and they are either false images, visions of the future that could be appealing, visions of the past. Also, you have visions of the past that are her memories, and also there are visions of the past that she was never there for,
Yeah.
events that happen.
Yeah.
There are also visions of the future, things that we think we know what they are and will happen, and there's also at least one vision of the future that could have happened.
Ooh,
yeah.
nice.
And then also there are within those visions of the future and the past, there is symbolic imagery of animals, of places, of things that maybe everything else is literal or represents an event that has happened, but there are definitely things that are more symbols that are possibly prophetic or possibly symbolizing something from her past. So this is how I thought about it.
This is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good, Joel.
Yeah.
A+.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You hang that on our fridge.
Yeah.
I will.
Way to get a gold star. You could get some sweet karma with this.
Ooh.
Some karma, yeah, a little bit.
Surprise, Lucy's here.
Surprise, Lucy.
Then she sees an image that's the Mad King, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you want to read it?
I think this is
No,
a
I
fun
want to
one.
read some cooler ones.
No,
Oh, this
I
one's
wanna
cool.
Read cooler ones. You just want to read the one with
I wanted to read the one with the rat men pumping between her thighs, but I wasn't here for that.
Sorry, missed the pumping.
Should have edited better the first time.
I'll read this one. Finally, a great pair of bronze doors appeared to her left, grander than the rest. They swung open as she neared, and she had to stop and look. Beyond loomed a cavernous stone hall, the largest she'd ever seen. The skulls of dead dragons looked down from its walls. Upon a towering barbed throne sat an old man in rich robes, an old man with dark eyes and long silvery gray hair. Let him be king over charred bones and cooked meat, he said to a man below him. Let him be the king of ashes. Drogon shrieked, his claws digging through silk and skin, but the king on his throne never heard, and Dany moved on. So, Mad King.
That's him talking about Robert, right?
He's talking about Robert. Is he talking to Tywin?
No, I think he's
No,
talking
Tywin
to
would have
Jamie.
Tywin would have been gone.
at
at
the-
Oh, yeah,
this is-
Tywin would have
this-
been reading.
This would have
he's
been
not even
just
talking
before
to
the sack.
Jamie, because he knows that Jamie's not into this. He's talking to, what is his name? The
Oh,
pyromancer
Robert.
Hannah.
It's an R, right? Rosset.
Rosset. He's talking to Rosset, I
Oh.
think.
Tywin's out sacking the city.
Rosset potatoes.
Yeah, so this is Eris, so we're reaching back to her Targaryen
Yeah.
daddy.
Yeah, and she connects him to Viserys, which I think is interesting, the madness and the anger.
And then we transition into the next one, which is
Yeah.
cool.
This
oh
is
boy,
taller.
this is gonna be like a segment.
His eyes were a dark indigo rather than lilac. Aegon, he said to a woman nursing a newborn babe in a great wooden bed. What better name for a king? Will you make a song for him? The woman asked. He has a song, the man replied. He is the prince that was promised, and his is the song of ice and fire. He looked up when he said it, and his eyes met Dany's, and it seemed as if he saw her standing there beyond the door. There must be one more, he said, though whether he was speaking to her or the woman in the bed she could not say. The dragon has 3 heads. He went to the window seat, picked up a harp, and ran his fingers lightly over the silvery strings. Sweet sadness filled the room as a man and wife and babe faded like the morning mist. Only the music lingering to speed her on her way.
Okay, so because he has a harp, because he has named his child Aegon, this is Rhaegar, which makes her Elia Martell. It seems like this is both possibly an event that happened and also didn't, because it's prophetic, it's interacting with Dany. What's he talking about?
It does seem very tidy for something to have been a thing that actually happened. I feel like it's like loosely based on real events kind of thing.
It's like it's an
yeah.
interpretation of stories.
This is a big thing that we don't get in the show, and is a huge
Yeah.
it's
a
one
big deal.
It's a big deal. We surely will see it resolved by the end of the series, specifically the dragon having 3 heads. It's like a huge thing. It's part of why people think that there's going to be 3 dragon riders.
3 Targaryen dragon
3
riders.
Targaryen dragon riders.
Which could be Dany, Jon, and someone else.
And someone else. They're probably which is another reason I think that Tyrion's a secret Targ.
How many times can you play that card?
A lot, because there's a lot of evidence for it in here. If you want to read into it.
Sure.
Is this the first time Prince that was promised has
Yes.
been mentioned?
Yeah, that's another thing.
Okay, because we've had mention of Azor Ahai, but not Prince that was promised.
Exactly.
No.
For a while, I got them confused because they're just similar.
There is a lot of similarity. There's also the Last Hero.
That's right. Who may or may not be Azor Ahai by
Right.
different mythology.
Yes, exactly.
So, but also within this scene, the dragon having 3 heads has a different meaning when you kind of put it in the context of Rhaegar.
Yes.
Because you have to think, okay, there must be one more. The dragon has 3 heads. He has 2 kids. The one he's holding, Aegon, is in this vision, and he has a girl, a baby girl.
Rhaella?
Yes.
No, Rhaella is his mom.
Oh.
Damn.
It's
Rhaenys?
Rhaenys. So
Targaryen
Rhaenys,
names,
Aegon,
then.
which is Aegon's sister, the Targaryen conquerors from
Right.
back in the day. Anyway, so he's like, there's got to be another. He has to have a 3rd kid, and he knows that he's gonna have a 3rd kid because he wants to fulfill this prince that was promised prophecy.
Okay.
The dragon having 3 heads is part of that.
If
Yes.
this is based on a real conversation or a real intention, desire that he had to have a 3rd kid, where would he have gotten this prophecy from? Is this a known prophecy?
Okay.
Okay, maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. You guys can
It's
save that.
It's a prophecy that exists before Rhaegar.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
We find out where he
Yeah,
finds it.
I
Kind of.
think so.
We find out that he finds
It's
it.
getting into stuff where I'm like, do I remember this?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, yes, it's an existing thing. He didn't just make it up.
Mance's Rhaegar.
And
I-
sweet sadness filled the room as the man and wife and babe
Yeah.
faded like the morning mist. I like
So
that.
a thing to consider is I feel like this has to have been mentioned in the books is Elia, his wife, is very sickly and like almost died having this baby,
Yeah.
having Aegon.
Oh, I did not know that.
She has a hard time carrying kids.
Yeah.
And he's like, I gotta have another kid.
Yeah.
Where's he gonna have another kid?
Yeah. He's
Interesting.
hell bent on this dragon has 3 heads prophecy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So he's like, I need to make that happen.
Yeah.
Elia will probably die if we try to have another kid. Who can I have another kid with?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It also then makes me think about if this is a conversation that they had, would there have been some kind of understanding that they could reach? If he needed another kid and she understood that.
That is the theory.
Yeah.
That Elia knew.
Elia was cool with
She
it.
was complicit.
Yeah.
Or like gave permission.
Which I kind of want to believe.
Me too.
Yeah.
Because poor Elia.
And we know more about the Dornish, and they're kind of more open.
Yeah, they're permissive.
you know, attitudes towards things. So, and you know, we get a different. This is the beginning. We've already heard a little bit about the different kind of image of Rhaegar that's told to Dany versus the one that's told in Westeros through Robert. But this is the first kind of real interaction with Rhaegar, and it really paints. I think there's things here that George is doing that's painting Rhaegar very specifically. I don't think it's an accident that his eyes are described as. Let me make sure I'm doing this right. A dark indigo rather than lilac. They're a deeper color. They're not as pale. So there's a strength in that that was missing from Viserys in a way. He's very concerned with nobility and royalty. What better name for a king? The prince that was promised, this idea of prophecy and song. Will you make a song for him, the woman asks, knowing that he's one who is musically and artistically inclined. He picks up the harp and just kind of, you know, strums it. This is not the image of the, like, you know, monster who fought Robert on the Trident. You know, this is a little bit different. So I think that's another interesting part of this. Sweet sadness, this idea of sweet sadness is something that's connected to Rhaegar. We're done, James.
No.
Hey, before you sit down, I came over here with a beer. Oh, is it up there?
Yep.
Thank you.
Are we good with that?
Yeah.
Bring an
Specific-
extra one for me.
No, I
Scene?
didn't.
Now, before the next proper vision,
you.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on the thing that follows her. There's something that
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Where
there's
is
in
this?
the darkness. It's when
it's
like
top of 702.
yeah.
When she's looking for what the door on the right is, and eventually realizes that it's the last door on the left. But
Right.
until then, there's something that's shuffling and dragging itself slowly along the faded carpet, and she's filled with terror.
But isn't it described as inky, or is that something else?
That's the
That's-
shade of the evening.
Yeah, that's yeah.
No.
Well, there's black. Get on like there's blackness that is following. The torches are going out one by one, sort of like
It's
the
darkness.
Balrog
Yeah.
is coming.
Oh, is it just the long night? Maybe.
I think it.
Is it the long
It
winter?
could be the long. It could be. Yeah, I guess that's an
Oh.
interpretation. Darkness. This idea that we've seen from Mel and stuff of darkness being the enemy.
So this is also another kind of test for her to see if she'll choose rightly for whatever these tests are for.
She does think. Terror filled her. It could just be like. She was afraid to stay here, but how could she go on? It could just be anxiety. It could just be fear.
Fear creating something behind her?
A manifest. I don't think we never describe. There's
Yeah, I
there's
don't
nothing
know if it's
described.
a
It's just
thing.
darkness. I don't think it's a thing. It's not a creature.
Well, they're just the sounds that she hears.
It's shuffling and dragging itself, which is
Yeah,
really creepy.
and it freaks Drogon out too.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
That and the things that are in the walls that also freak Drogon out are interesting to me. Because I think that it's interesting that it's not clean, that it's only doors she can look in and see visions that will tempt her or give her information. There are other things going on where they're just like loud noises behind doors.
I don't know. I did underline shuffling and dragging itself slowly across the faded carpet as something that reminded me of the Shadow Baby. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. How would Danny and the Lord of Light and that whole power, Melisandre's power, relate to each other?
I don't think it would. I mean, I think that Melisandre would think that the dragons are tools of light, obviously. But she says it seemed as if she heard something. Like, I think that we got to look at we're looking at words in this chapter, and I think that for her to say, as she listened, it seemed as if she heard something, is not she heard something.
That's true.
I think it's a manifestation of her fear.
And Drogon is
I don't
closely
think-
linked with her, so
Right.
when it says that he opened his mouth to scream, steam rising between his teeth, she says he hears it too.
When we're seeing so many other things explicitly expressed, the vagueness of this could
Okay.
be something as vague as just her own insecurities and
Yeah.
fear.
Not everything is necessarily filled with deep meaning, but because so much else in the chapter is, I think we want to pay close attention when there's something that's interesting.
But there is still a lot to get through, so let's move on. I would like to say that I would have instantly gotten that the last door on the left
Oh
is
my
the first door.
I
on the
know, right? Like
thank
how?
you.
Yeah,
Well-
no.
Yeah, I definitely would, because you just follow your right until
Until there's a door.
This
yeah.
is her first escape room. We've all had puzzles.
Yeah,
She's
feel
never
if
played
anything is
Myst.
loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's never played Myst. I like the paragraph after it though, where it's like the repetition. To the right she went, to the right, and 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 to the right, until she was dizzy and out of breath once more. That's That's fun. It just drives home the repetition of the House of the Undying. Then she runs to Pyat Pri.
Oh yeah, who's like,
Outside.
you did it.
Yeah, you did it. Here's your rubber wristband to show that you completed it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good writing in this chapter.
And then after Pyat Pri, there's the
Pyat Scree. Screeched.
yeah.
No me.
All I could think of when I read that was fucking.
Don't hug me.
Don't
I'm
hug me,
scared.
I'm scared.
Oh.
Don't touch me.
Come to me. And then his face crumbles inward, changes
Yeah.
something worm-like.
What the fuck?
Gross.
Why didn't we get this in the show?
I know.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be cool.
There's a lot of this they could have still done without the prophecy, and it would have been way cooler than just like we were talking about this when you were in the other room, just like lots of Pyat Pris, like
Yeah, like he's over here. Now he's over here.
That's right. That's what happens.
There's a bunch of them.
What were you gonna say, Joel?
I was gonna move on to the false undying.
Yeah, let's. 'Cause
Okay.
there's
Yeah, so
much shit.
yeah.
So Chelsea was like, "How would anyone know not to trust this?" And I thought, well, Pyat Pri said she would go into the audience chamber and wait for them to show up. Whereas here, she goes into the audience chamber and they're already there. So maybe that's one indication, right?
I need to refer
Part of
back
his
to Pyat Pri now.
instructions.
Before we get there, there's a couple things I want to point out.
Uh-oh.
Finally, the stair opened to her right, a set of wide wooden doors, ebony and weirwood, black and white. Interesting. And then I think it's interesting that Dany prayed to the warrior for courage and the Dothraki horse god for strength. Dany doesn't discriminate,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah. As far as
I think that's an
the fates
important.
go.
I think that's an important thing to note on her character. Okay.
James, he does not say to wait for them. He says be patient with them, but he doesn't say like wait till they show up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Never mind then.
Cause okay, I had to reread this part a bunch of times to understand what the fuck was happening because like I was annoyed that she goes into this room and seemingly there's no other doors out, so it's like, oh, she's done.
Yeah.
But there's a door
Like
behind
the
the
first door?
which
That she already went through.
Yeah.
How?
So then, is that to go forward? She must go back.
No. I think it's just a
I'm
little
just annoyed
confusing.
because it doesn't adhere to the rules of the house.
Because
And I was
so
really
she
annoyed.
comes through
cheater.
the door
Yeah.
and they have their conversation. Drogon,
Starts.
as she's she's tempted. She takes a small step forward. Drogon bites at the wood,
reminding me very much of Lucy.
It did, yeah.
and then it says that the great door was so heavy it took all of Dany's strength to budge
So
it.
here's what it is.
So had she not entered that originally?
Or is she
okay, here's
pushing
what
the
it is.
door to
Here's
the
what it is.
side, like-
Can I borrow? Wait. Okay, this is the hidden door.
Okay.
Okay, here's the
Okay.
door that she comes through. So it's
Okay.
she walks through, opens it, and it shuts behind her, right? So she's
Okay.
in front of it.
Ah.
Drogon starts like chewing on the door, and so she pushes this door out of the way.
to, like, the
and there's a
side?
door on the right
I
of that
gotcha.
door, and she goes through it.
I gotcha.
Ah.
It bothered me.
Okay.
And then I finally understood it.
Thank
it's
you.
just some magic shit.
And it follows Indiana Jones rules, and the most important door is old gray wood, splintery and plain.
Is that
Because
Choose the carpenter's cup.
yeah.
Yeah.
You need to see that movie.
all right?
The vision that we have of the Undying fits perfectly because the ones that we see are offering her everything. They're very inviting, and they say, "Hey, you should learn the language of dragons." Everything is, even, I mean, not to.
It would be really useful. Just
Yeah.
saying.
I know, I'd be like, sure, let's go. And then I would never be seen again.
So after that, she does find the proper, real audience chamber of the Undying, and there's a floating human heart, swollen and blue with corruption,
This is awesome.
still alive, beating. Ponderous throb of sound, and and each pulse sends out a wash of indigo light. That's cool.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was cool.
it's fucking awesome.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
Why don't we get to see that?
The figures around the tables were no more than blue shadows as Dany walked into the empty chair at the foot of the table. They did not stir, nor speak, nor turn to face her. There was no sound but the slow, deep beat of the rotting heart. Yeah!
Yeah, what a disappointment. The show version.
But there were lots of Pyat Pri.
It reminded me, for you guys who have read Magician's Nephew from C.S. Lewis, it
Yeah.
reminded me of when they go to the witch's dimension.
Yeah,
and
and
how
it's like a weird, degraded version
yeah,
of,
and just like that
Yeah.
throne room they enter where everyone's just sitting and still and in decay.
Yeah.
Like they've
It's
been there
little
for
like
1,000
the upside
years.
down too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when she thinks that they're dead and then hears them whispering, are they communicating telepathically,
I
or are they
believe so.
actually whispering? It's
I think
yeah,
it's
I think it's
telepathic
yeah,
thing.
telepathically.
Yeah, she realizes that there's no breath coming from them and the words are just in her head.
Yeah.
Especially with the italicized words, they're not in quotations. I think that's like something she's hearing. So 3 heads has the dragon, the ghost chorus hammered inside her skull, with never a lip moving, never a breath stirring the still blue air. Mother of dragons, child of storm, the whispers became a swirling song. 3 fires must you light, 1 for life, and 1 for death, and 1 to love. So,
This is the stuff that we gotta kick Joel out.
No.
with.
Yeah.
the show, I think. Well, okay.
okay, what
no, we'll
page
kick
is
Joel
it?
out. We'll kick Joel
Oh,
out.
I
Nah.
Let's go through
Yeah,
it.
okay.
And then
we'll
at the
kick
end.
Joel
Okay.
out.
Yeah.
Next.
But I do want, well, let's go through these set of 3s and then
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about them.
3, oh, sure. 3
Oh, yeah.
mounts you must ride, 1 to bed, and 1 to dread, and 1 to love. And 3 treasons will you know, once for blood, and once for gold, and once for love. Joel.
So, the mounts, I think I have the clearest vision of. One to
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm thinking that they're sequential. And I thought that bed would be Drogo, dread would be Drogon, and then I don't think love, at least as far as show experience, we would have yet. For fires, life, I think, gives life to the dragons. So the burning of Mary Mazdur and the horse and Drogo. Death could be in the House of the Undying here at the end of this chapter when it just goes ablaze. Or it could be another time later. Love, I'm not sure. They all end in love, which is interesting to me, which makes me think that, or makes me wonder, whatever the love one is, that they're all related to the same person, perhaps. Treasons, I'm not sure which of those is Jorah, but I think one of them is Jorah.
I think that's
And I'm
fair.
not sure which one. It could be blood because Jorah has a loyalty to his home. It could be gold. No, I mean, I'll say the first one is Jorah. Gold I am not sure about. And love I don't know. But that's what I have.
Okay. Javier, there are some debatable things about some of these, which include book-only things. That's why we'll kick Joel out. Although I do believe that...
Also, the fun part of the House of the Undying is speculating.
Yeah.
And we want to talk about stuff that is informed by what we know, having read the first 5 books.
Well, after that, we get our Rhaego
Rhaego.
vision, and that's Joel's little bubble in his thing
Yes.
Yeah.
of future things that could have been or might have been.
And before that, we get Viserys dying. And then
Oh,
Rhaego.
you're right.
Yeah, I like the order because it takes you through, it's sort of stream of consciousness, it felt like.
Yeah, but a tall lord with copper skin and silver gold hair stood beneath the banner of a fiery stallion, a burning city behind him. So the copper skin is always used to describe Dothraki, and silver gold hair would come from Targaryens. So we can assume that this is Rhaego, especially with the burning city behind him. If he were really the stallion that would mount the world, that prophecy has to do a lot with, destruction.
Yeah.
That's why Mary Mazdur was like, nope. Rubies flew like drops of blood from the chest of a dying prince. So that's Rhaegar.
Murmuring a woman's name.
Yes.
She would have known Elia's name.
Exactly.
So it makes me think that this is Lyanna.
Yes.
Oh, so you think that if it was Elia, she would
She
have
would
been
say,
like,
She'd say
she
Ilya.
said Ilya.
Yeah.
Or his wife's name or whatever.
Okay.
Interesting.
But she doesn't recognize him, does she? Rhaegar.
She's
No.
never seen him.
She's
No,
never
she
seen
never
him.
has. So she doesn't recognize him here?
It is interesting that it's not entirely.
Go.
Oh, sorry, I thought there was a sound.
Oh.
It's interesting that it's not entirely visual, this sentence, because you get the image of rubies flew like drops of blood from the chest of a dying prince. There's nothing that she would know necessarily. There's nothing visually that connotes this is a prince. It makes me think that it's a feeling that's informing the vision.
Also, if she doesn't recognize Rhaegar here, it's also good to know that on 701, that vision of the Mad King, she didn't recognize her dad.
No.
Mm-hmm.
She never calls any of the Targaryens she sees in the visions by name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks for her. Like
What?
she's never seen her dad or brother, but she does in these visions. But since she's never seen them, she's not able to acknowledge like, oh hey, that's my dad.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
you're
know?
right.
Do we want to go down the line and just read each one?
Oh yeah, this is like the lightning round.
Here,
God,
I can
there's
read
so
the next
many.
one.
Okay.
Because the next one is weird to me.
Okay.
Which one? The
Glowing like sunset, a red sword was raised in the hand of a blue-eyed king who casts no shadow. So for me, I don't know what color Stannis's eyes are, but
I'm surprised you don't.
Yeah.
I'm less of a fan of him now. But a red sword glowing like sunset makes me think of him being the representative of the Lord of Light and cast no shadow. His shadow is used by Melisandre for shadow assassins. So I think it's him.
Okay.
Okay. A cloth dragon swayed on poles amidst a cheering crowd. Any thoughts, Joel?
Yeah, my thought was that that's either past or future people celebrating Targaryen rule.
Okay.
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 From a smoking tower, a great stone beast took wing, breathing shadow fire.
And it's important. Mother of Dragons, Slayer of Lies.
Yeah.
It's associated with those three.
Oh, with those three.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Oh.
first three is Mother of Dragons, Daughter of Death.
Yeah.
So Daughter of Death would be Viserys dying,
Yep.
Rhaego dying, and Rhaegar
Rhaegar.
dying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So now Mother of Dragons, Slayer of Lies.
Yeah.
Yep. The blue-eyed king, the cloth
cloth
dragon, and the stone beast.
Yeah, I thought that the stone beast would have been Drogon, but stone is interesting because he's the most colored like a stone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Chelsea, do you want to take the next one?
Sure. Her silver was trotting through the grass to a darkling stream beneath a sea of stars.
Oh, this one makes sense. Okay.
A corpse stood at the prow of a ship, eyes bright in his dead face, gray lips smiling sadly.
Yeah, and a blue flower grew from a chink in a wall of ice and filled the air with sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
Mother of Dragons.
Bride of Fire.
Yeah, that one makes a lot of sense to me
That
now.
one I
Yep.
think.
That one's the most straightforward. Joel,
Yep.
thoughts?
So my thoughts are only silver is the past. I have no idea about the corpse at the prow of a ship, and blue flower could reference winter roses. It could be symbolic of Jon at the wall. It could also be a symbol of the end of winter with spring emerging.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
So the next one, shadows whirled and danced inside a tent, boneless and terrible.
That's the death of Rhaego when she's given
Yeah.
birth.
Yeah.
Pretty solid. A little girl ran barefoot toward a big house with a red door.
That's
her.
herself as a kid.
Mhm.
Marie Mesdur shrieked in flames. A dragon bursting from her brow. The
Makes
birth
sense.
of the
She
dragons.
dies.
I like that it implies it's her death.
Yeah.
Blood magic,
but-
yeah.
yeah. Behind a silver horse, the bloody corpse of a naked man bounced and dragged.
The poisoner.
The poisoner.
Yeah.
I read some interesting interpretations of this.
That it would be different than just the poisoner? The straightforward?
Or just fun ways you
Shut up,
could.
Gunner. Joel doesn't know that stuff.
I'm not looking at you.
We'll talk about it later.
A white lion ran through grass taller than a man. I have no idea about this one.
That is the lion
Lion
that
Khal
Drogo kills, and she then takes the cloak.
She like wraps up.
Thank you. As we get farther away from game, I'm trying not to, but the show is coming back in a little bit, so I'd forgotten about the lion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, Tyrion Lannister. I think.
A white lion and grass taller than a man. Okay.
He's a tiny lion. The grass is taller than him.
Why is he white?
Because he's a secret Targ. And he has white hair.
Oh, okay.
He does.
Oh, he does have white hair?
He does have white hair.
It's so blonde, it's white and stringy, and yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I know.
Beneath the mother of mountains, a line of naked crones crept from a great lake and knelt shivering before her, their gray heads bowed.
This could directly reference something that happens in the show.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
I
as far
think
as
it's.
we
I think
know.
that's the thing where
Yeah.
it happened in the show, but it hasn't happened in the books yet.
It's okay, Gunnar. I'm sorry I yelled at you.
All right.
10,000 slaves lifted bloodstained hands. Mother, mother, mother.
That's
we all know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Misa. Okay.
And that's the end of the visions.
Thank. Yeah.
There's so many.
So then she looks up, and the Undying are just trying to take her apart. And she also cannot speak or move, which is interesting. I wonder if this is an effect of that room, the heart, them, Shade of the Evening. I wonder how this was accomplished.
I'm curious with the heart if they're like pulling her apart to like, I don't know, like they need to replenish the parts.
I think it's kind of weird that the heart's indigo and
Oh,
Rhaegar's
I was going to talk
eyes
about that, yeah, and then
were
James
indigo.
went right into all the prophecies, and I didn't want to slow you down. But the word, the repetition of the word indigo,
Yeah.
and describing Rhaegar's eyes as indigo, I think is really important to note. You know, that's something that there's a magic evidently to that color, or the use of the color, and it's connected with magic, or connected with sadness or pain, or however you want to interpret that. But I think that the repetition of the word indigo, especially in the use to describe Rhaegar's eyes, isn't done on accident. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what the heart is powered by. Because it seems like it's powering them, and actually it's
Love, Joel.
oh no! It's incredible that Drogon doesn't go to protect Dany when she's under attack. He is smart enough to go and destroy the heart.
Oh man, I want to
Yeah.
see that dragon eating that floating heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, D&D. Just tearing into a blue corrupted heart that's floating and doing a light show.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
Yeah.
So this scene definitely makes me think that the power was there, and they were mortal men who came to it, and just decided, okay, we'll be the Undying ones, and since they've lasted for so long, they might as well be. But that, I don't know, I think it was something that was there before them.
The heart was there before them?
Yeah, that's my personal theory.
I disagree, but I don't have any reason.
What do you think?
I think it was magic created by these men. I think
To,
that-
like-
to extend their lives,
Hmm.
and they suffer for it when Drogon does destroy the heart. Their flesh was crumbling parchment, bones dry, wood soaked in tallow, thin papery voices crying out, and tongues long dead. I think that they're suffering for extending their lives this way. There's nothing to them without that.
It feels like a Sorcerer's Stone situation where it keeps them alive, but they're just barely there.
At what cost? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Gunnar Loper comparing Drogon eating the heart to Dany eating the horse heart.
Mm-hmm.
All right, should we? Oh, and then she runs outside, and Piper dances towards her with a
Yeah.
knife, which is a hilarious mental image for me. I just like to imagine
It's
some
like,
like, really sweet moves.
Do you imagine Pyapri like the show Pyapri?
I do.
He's stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Or you know what? Actually, no. You know what my mind goes to instead? It's those creepy fuckers in Attack of the Clones on Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, yeah.
With the teeth that are
With
like.
the teeth.
Yeah, with the little fangs and like the high collar.
Oh, that's
but they're
kinda cool.
nice.
They are nice. I know. I'm sorry to call them creepy, but they look fucking creepy. I'm
I
sorry.
think of Fremen from Dune.
who
That's
that is.
interesting.
All right, Joel, get the fuck out of here. We're gonna talk about spoilers.
Oh, we're
Alright,
doing that now.
guys.
Cool.
Have
Yeah,
a good
yeah.
time.
And then we'll rush through Tyrion and
If
Theon.
you are watching and do not want to be
Put
spoiled,
up a thing.
Oh yeah.
Be like,
Put up like a big
"Oh,
text
shit."
thing across our faces or something.
I'm gonna do that.
I'm gonna go.
We'll try to make it Let me know.
Text me or something.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too long.
Yeah.
No, we don't have too long to spend.
I mean, we're gonna finish the
last two
okay.
chapters.
All right, cool. Thanks. Spoilers.
Great.
What?
Yeah.
First thing that I wanted to point out,
What?
the shade of the evening. We were talking about how it tastes really gross at first, and it tastes good, and it tastes like all these tastes that she's always known. That same thing happens when Bran drinks
the
the
weirwood
weirwood
paste. Yeah.
Oh, that same thing happens.
Totally.
Okay.
It's like, yeah.
Do you think it's? Do you think? What?
Nothing.
Totally. Yeah.
It's-
No, it is.
It's what?
Jojen.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely.
Wait, what were you
Jojen
gonna
based.
say?
Do you think they're related? The same at all?
I don't know.
The same kind of magic, maybe? House of the Undying.
Oh yeah.
North of the Wall magic. I don't know.
Magic is related. I think that magic is related.
Yeah, but like I don't think these are related to like Mel's magic.
Interesting. You think? Well, no. I think that this is older.
No, Caitlin, get out of here.
Yeah, Caitlin. We're gonna talk about
Caitlin,
some
no!
shit.
The Pawans? I don't even know how to pronounce that, Gunner, but thank you for giving me that name.
Okay, what else?
Okay. The thing that I wanted to jump on just because like it makes the most sense, the brides thing. 'Cause-
Sure. We can start there.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can work backwards.
Okay. So it's
This is 706.
706. It's after the 3 threes, and this is the one that ends Mother of Dragons, Bride of Fire. So the first one is her silver was trotting through the grass to a darkling stream. Obviously, Drogo. Drogo, I'm sorry. If we're going off of like, yeah, this has to do with her being a bride. So the next one is a corpse stood at the prow of a ship, eyes bright in his dead face, gray lips smiling sadly. That's Victarion.
That's Victorian.
Because he's headed there to
Yeah.
marry her.
Gray lips.
Gray
Why is
lips.
he-
What's gray lips?
He's a Greyjoy. Smiling sadly. Gray lips, smiling sadly. Greyjoy.
Why is he a corpse?
Because isn't he
Volcano arm.
Yeah, doesn't he have volcano arm?
What?
What happened to his arm? Did it get grayscale?
Something happened to it,
And
then
then Makar-
Makoro or whatever,
Wow, this
like
is shit
like
I don't
magicked it.
remember.
Yeah, magicked his arm and now he has volcano
Now he has
arm.
volcano arm.
I think he has like a limited lifespan because
That's
of his
funny.
volcano arm.
Yeah, he's a dead man walking.
Yeah. And then so a blue flower is always
It's Jon.
associated with Jon.
It's John.
Jon.
So that implies that she's gonna marry Jon, or there will be some kind of romance or wedding between them.
Well, I think, yeah, she'll marry him.
Yeah, because it's a blue flower grew from a chink in a wall of ice.
Yeah.
It's John's body within the wall of ice, growing back to life. I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, Javier's saying it's Euron. Because we saw corpses on the prows. What's that mean? I don't know what he's talking about.
Euron like straps corpses to his ship, like physically, but I think that this is metaphorically talking about how Victarion is like he's
going
on
there.
a ticking clock.
He's like on the way.
He's a dead man walking,
Yeah.
and he's standing on the prow of a ship. It could be Euron. It's a Greyjoy
It's
either
a
way.
Greyjoy, yeah.
So I'm not super concerned about which Greyjoy it is.
Should we do Slayer of Lies, aka us making poor Joel be like,
Oh,
what do you think
God.
this means?
Yeah, what do you think, Joe? The cloth dragon is my favorite.
Oh, but before we move on to this, I do
What?
want to say, what do you guys think about the fact that Dany's probably going to marry Jon?
It's fine.
I don't know. Whatever.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's stupid.
It's
We
I
can
think
move
it
on.
Makes sense.
It's not worth debating. I think it's dumb.
Okay. So, glowing like sunset, a red sword was raised in the hand of a blue-eyed king who cast no shadow. Is that Stannis?
It's,
I don't know.
Or is it?
Is
the
Stannis-
This is interpreting.
Blue-eyed?
This is yes, but there's a lot. People are like, this is the Night's King.
But I feel like Slayer of Lies implies it's
That
people
that
who are like directly trying to take
pretenders
her.
to the
They're
crown.
pretenders to her throne.
I
a
agree.
red sword, the
I think
flaming
so.
sword that he pulled out of the
Yes, I
doesn't-
know, but it
idol.
could also be a crystal sword reflecting the sun.
Oh, okay.
And
I don't
it-
know.
But
Not
either
casting a shadow.
either way.
So it's Stannis, and it's a lie because He's not
He's
Azor
not.
Ahai,
Well, he's also not the rightful king.
but he kind of is.
But
Sure,
she is.
but
I
she
think,
exists.
But I think the bigger
Still
thing
he-
is that Mel is like, he is Azor
He is-
Ahai.
That's
yeah.
He's the
true.
one come back, and it's like, no,
Yes.
probably John,
He's
maybe
not-
Danny,
yeah.
not Stannis.
The next two are interesting because the two best interpretations I've read of them apply to the same person, so they can't both be right.
Wait, what? The cloth dragon?
The
Well,
cloth,
Cloth Dragon
dragon
is Phaegon.
is
Phaegon,
Phaegon,
for sure.
But I also really love this interpretation of the stone beast.
Oh, okay.
The stone beast taking win is John Connington because his sigil's a griffin and he has grayscale.
Yeah.
He's breathing shadow fire, so he is
Oh,
shadow
It's
fire's
fake.
Phaegon.
it's Phaegon.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Can
Yeah.
both those be true?
I
doubt
think
they-
so.
No, I don't think
Because it
two
seems
can
like it
refer to
doesn't,
one guy.
and it also
Okay.
doesn't fit the pattern of three pretenders.
Then
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
here's
yeah.
here's my other
Cloth
interpretation.
Dragon, Varys?
No, cloth dragon is Phaegon.
Well, all right.
But my other interpretation of the smoking tower, the stone beast, and the shadow fire
Mm-hmm.
is Cersei blowing up King's Landing with wildfire and the mountain,
Wait,
the animated mountain.
which?
I don't know. Like taking wing is the part that doesn't
Yeah,
work there.
taking wing is weird. And breathing shadow fire, I don't know.
Like
Yeah.
wildfire.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
Javier, I didn't know that Euron was going to the High Tower. I haven't read all the Winds of Winter chapters.
I don't care. We're talking about what this is. Like
No,
we're
I know,
not
but
here
the-
to be
but-
corrected.
No, but he's giving us his theories based on information from Winds of Winter chapters that I haven't read, and I don't know how
Winds
I
of
feel.
Winter's
Yeah,
not out
I've been
yet.
kind of avoiding them. So.
I don't know, because
You
we
know,
also
it's
listen to
so
Radio
out of
Westeros.
context.
They talk about Winds of Winter
But it's
chapters.
so out of context.
No, it's not out of context. If there's stuff in those chapters that apply to these theories.
Sure, but I don't
Yeah.
know. There's still sample chapters.
Yeah. Should we talk about the like three fires, three treasons?
Oh yeah. So the fires.
Oh, sure.
The fire. I mean, the first one's for life, and it's the dragons.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it brings the dragons to life. The second one for death. I feel like we saw it in the show.
I think we saw it in the show and
Oh,
haven't.
the burning of
yeah.
the calls.
Dothraki.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it's
sure.
another fire that she like
And it's
walks
a
through.
big
It's
one.
big.
Like it.
Yeah, she
it
kills a lot of people.
It kills a lot of leaders.
Yeah.
And frees her from the whole Dash Kaleen,
Yeah,
future that she had to have.
it's
Yeah, Jacob. Aegon is probably not a real Targaryen. He's not
Oh,
Aegon. If
no,
you're
that's Blackfire
the
stuff.
generally accepted theory is that he's a Blackfire pretender. That the real Aegon did die, getting his head bashed in.
Yeah.
And that Varys and Illyrio, who one of them might be a Blackfire as well,
Blackfire. Yeah.
are raising up Aegon without John Connington's knowledge of it not being Aegon.
Right.
He thinks it's
He
actually
thinks it's Aegon because John is gay and loved Rhaegar.
Probably.
Yeah.
And they want to install Phaegon on the throne and then be like, surprise, he's a Blackfire, we're legit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Oh, sorry, Javier. I don't remember.
I don't remember that shit. It's
Yeah.
been so long.
We'll get there when we
It's
get
been
there.
years.
It's yeah.
Okay.
2011 was
So
a
that's
long
life
time
and
ago.
that's death and then love. I just feel like it's so far
Yeah,
off. How
that
do
one we don't know yet.
Maybe
Yeah,
with John.
I feel like the ones where they're
Oh,
threes are just
maybe.
fucking far.
Yeah, because then the mounts you
Way.
must ride. I don't know about those either.
Oh, I kind of like these. The three mounts you must ride. I think they are very literal.
so
mounts.
it's the silver,
It's her silver
which she rides to
Drogon.
Drogon
Or to
To
Drogo.
Drogon.
To bed.
Drogon, where she escapes.
which is
and
Dread.
she ends up presumably being
Captured by the Dothraki. Sure.
And one to love. Who knows?
Sure.
don't know.
The third one
Like,
is
we
just
don't
who
know.
knows. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Treason.
Okay.
Same with the treasons. Like the blood is probably
Miri
Miri
Mazdur,
Mazdur.
'cause she
Gold is probably
Is
going to
Jorah
be.
one
Did
of
she
these?
really betray Danny though?
Yeah.
Miri
She
Mazdur?
said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
She
was
lied
like,
to
"Here's
her.
these instructions and follow," and they didn't.
That's true that they didn't.
Yeah, but when she like she's like save him and she
Mhm.
like kills the horse and everything, like she had no intention of doing that.
Yeah.
Is Jorah one of these or no?
Oh, the treasons?
Probably. Once for gold?
But it wasn't really gold. It was a pardon.
You know?
Gold, I always assumed would be Dario.
Oh,
Because
I
he's
hope so.
a mercenary.
Yeah.
And in Battle of Fire, he's going to turn cloak.
You think so?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
But I feel like gold is like...
Javier thinks the third mount is going to be Ghost that she rides to Jon.
She's going to
Fucking
ride Ghost?
sure.
Sure,
Yeah,
fine.
let's see that happen.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. But I think she's, by the end of Dance, she's surrounded by so many mercenaries.
Yeah. Isn't Brown? I don't even know what side Brown Ben Plum is on at this point. He keeps jumping
I
back
know,
and forth.
he's going back and forth, and Tyrion's trying to get him to do stuff. I have no idea.
Okay. Anything else we need to discuss before we pull Joel back?
Oh, really quick, this is a smaller one, but the silver horse with the bloody corpse being dragged behind it, I saw someone online say that is a good representation of the pale mare.
The pale mare? Sure.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that disease that strikes outside of Marine.
Yeah.
Right.
During the Battle of Fire.
They're very
Before the
concerned
Battle of
about
Fire.
it spreading.
That's a huge thing in the books.
Yeah.
Oh, the disease?
Yeah. The plague.
Yeah.
Everyone shits their brains out.
It's dysentery, right? That's all it is.
Maybe.
All it is.
Yeah, it's just a spot of dysentery.
Right.
Okay, should we call back Joel?
Yeah.
Sure.
Joel!
Move on to Tyrion.
Joel!
Yeah, scream into your microphone, James.
Sorry.
Is this
I'm
Tyrion
going.
11?
Take a break. Be right back.
It is Tyrion 11, you're right. Could you grab Joel then?
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right.
I could see that, Javier, all three of those loved ones converging on Jon.
Yeah,
Sure.
sure. I would not be surprised if...
We can just kill that one, right?
Yes, this is not the one I meant to change.
Well, oh, all right. Well, I'll just...
I wouldn't be surprised if Jon doesn't love Dany the way that Dany ends up loving Jon.
Wait, who are you saying would love the other more?
Dany would love Jon more.
Think so?
I do. I think...
That's just because you love Jon.
I like Jon. I think Jon is never going to trust another woman after his experience with Ygritte. Like, he could have had... Like, wasn't What's-Her-Face into Jon? Not Mel.
The Karstark?
Sure, her. And then the one Wilding, too. The pretty one. Who was, like, not Mance's wife, but Mance's wife's...
Val?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyrion 11.
Tyrion 11. Whew, it's been a long day.
This chapter wasn't really that interesting.
Tyrion? Okay, so on to Tyrion 11, and this is the chapter... Oh, I did not write a summary. Okay, what happened in here?
New King's Guard. Prep for war. He's like, clear out this shit under the walls because they're going to climb it. And Bronn's like, they're not going to be happy about it. I think it's Bronn. It might not be Bronn. And
Oh, he gets the letter from Balon.
He gets the
proclaiming
layout.
himself king of the
Iron
Isles
Islands
in the
north.
Oh, and they find out about Antlermen.
Oh, right. Yep.
And that Tom is safe and happy.
Oh, and yeah, and all the mountain clans are gone.
Yeah, he sends his clansmen
To the
off,
woods.
which is...
To-
maybe we shouldn't use the term clansman. He sends the mountain clans off, which...
Yeah.
What purpose?
The purpose is to attack the baggage trains and the scouts in the Kingswood as Stannis's foot is coming up the Rose Road.
Yeah.
But doesn't he know that Stannis is coming by ship?
Yes, the bulk of his force, but he's gonna have to send some stuff up the.
The Vanguard
Yeah.
has to, like, go out in
Like,
front. Because
yeah.
they start showing up,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
like, way early.
So.
Yeah, a lot of them, and they need to be transported across, but they can still do a lot of damage. I found this, on the one hand, a perfect use of personnel by Tyrion.
Yep.
And also, it really made me wonder if this is something that George planned for this when he had the idea of the mountain clans going with Tyrion, or whether he saw that this would be a natural fit later on. Because it's just a perfect use for them.
Well, George has set his rings like a gardener. He just lets it grow. So I would guess the latter.
Yeah. Although, if we take the vision of the Red Wedding in this book from the last chapter, he knew some things he was hitting later on.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, man. I feel like it's not a good thing sending his Mountain Clans guys off.
It's
No.
self-sacrificing because it diminishes his loyal
I mean,
forces,
he talks,
but
Yeah, he feels naked without them.
he's doing what's for the best of the realm. They're going to be effective out there.
This is definitely like just downfall of Tyrion. Just little things like him. Is it this chapter where he's like burn all the stuff by the river?
Yep.
Because it can't be there.
Yep.
Because it's just basically like stuff for Stannis'
To
men
climb,
to climb on, and
yeah.
he's like, whatever, set fire to it. And Bronn is like, everyone's gonna be pissed at you, and he's like, I don't care. He's like, whatever, they're already mad at me, so give them another thing to be mad at me for.
Mhm.
Set all their stuff on
And
fire, fuck it. And he's just not.
When
caring.
does that come back? Is that the trial? Is that specific, or are you just saying that?
I'm
adds
just
to the
saying that it's like
discontent?
it's just one little thing. It's
Mm-hmm.
him just like kind of not caring, just starting
Mm-hmm.
to be like, fuck it. If I'm gonna be the bad guy, then fine, I'm gonna be the bad guy.
Yeah, but he
right,
has
though.
no other option.
Yeah, and I wonder if Cersei or Joffrey would look at those things and see that they would probably look at them with disgust, but not as like, oh, that's something
That's a
that our
problem.
enemy could use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You won't see the strategy.
Mm-hmm. Another just indication that book Bronn is not quite like show Bronn, especially how Tyrion thinks of him, who only smiled that insolent, dark smile of his.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like not as happy of a relationship as they have in the show.
And Tyrion orders them to cut down on their rowdiness. No more rapes. Keep
No
your men
more
in line,
rapes.
damn it. And Bronn says, oh, they're sellswords, not septons. So
Mhm.
thanks, Bronn.
He also says they'll kill for that knighthood, but they won't die for it. Like, he's very just
Yeah.
matter of fact of like, sure, you can try with these people, but like if things go south, they're worthless.
I like how Tyrion reacts to the fall of Winterfell. It's a wrenching shot to
Yes.
him.
Yes, I like
And
this too.
He thinks no doubt he should be rejoicing, but clearly, and yet, ... Like, it just shows that he has a respect for it.
Mm-hmm.
He appreciates, because I don't know how good of a time he had when he visited there.
I think part of it is he's a little superstitious, and I think Winterfell, because he says like he felt like an outsider there, like everyone who's not a Stark feels like an outsider there. I think he would agree that there probably always should be a Stark in
He
Winterfell.
does say the Lord
I think
of
part of
Winterfell
it
would
is
always be a star.
yeah, it's like subconscious. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So I think maybe he's buying into like maybe the magic of it without realizing.
For sure.
I think it feels a little portentous. Like, oh God, if there's not a Stark in Winterfell, then everything is gonna go to shit.
There's a couple fun little turns of phrase in here where he talks about the weirwood being a pale giant frozen in time. It has the smell of centuries. He said the castle might be theirs, but never that God's would, not in a year, 10 or 50. I think that speaks to your point, Chelsea, about him buying into the magic of it, whether he knows it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reverence that he has for the house and for their lands, it goes beyond feeling some kind of sympathy for them, for what his family is doing to them. He respects the history and its power. And I think unlike Tywin, I think he's unlike Tywin because Tywin would not care how the Starks are defeated because they are an enemy. He wouldn't care about them at all.
Sure.
Yeah, he would have no sympathy or at all for them. We get the two new Kingsguard. We have Balon Swan replacing.
There we
Preston
go.
Greenfield.
Where's
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Who's our huge
Where's
Balon
Clarence?
Swan? Yeah.
Clarence, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, Clarence. She's in here. She was asking where I was.
Oh, I had a question, or I had a thought about the three whores.
There he is. He was
Oh,
in
the
here
three
earlier.
whores.
So with the three whores, I just wanted to clarify with George because
They're not actually giant whores, Joel.
okay.
They're not like giants.
It's so the explanation for why they're called the three whores is because they'll give Stannis a lusty welcome. I'm like, that's a real long road to walk down to get someone to catch on.
I think
It's a
someone
lot of
gave
pipe
him the
delay.
name Three Whores, and then
They're
they
like,
kind of
the three
retconned
yours,
that.
and everyone's like, yeah. It's just, like just in that voice.
Yeah.
It's just gross.
It does like identify the battle with sex and the threat of like sacking as rape,
Yeah.
and that I appreciated.
And the idea of like Stannis being welcomed lustily. He's just
Yeah.
like, no, don't touch me. He's
Yeah.
like that gif of what's his face? Smithers, where like the strippers are like dancing up against Smithers is like, eh. I don't know what episode of The Simpsons that's from, but that's what that reminds me of.
I like the description, the difference in the description between Balon Swan and Osmond Kettleblack.
Yeah, because he approves of Balon.
Mm-hmm.
You
He
know,
would
he's-
serve with honor and courage.
He's proud, powerful, and cautious. Well, the Marcher Lords are. And yeah, he's valiant and courtly and skilled at arms. Good with the lance, better with the morning star, superb with the bow.
Yeah.
But not Osmond Kettleblack. Utterly dependent on Cersei for his advancement. How do you feel about the Kettleblacks right now?
Feeling great about them.
Yeah, you like them?
I don't like them.
They're not really around yet.
Not yet, no.
I find it interesting that Tyrion he's doing what he needs to do, but he even has a small note of pity that Cersei is so blind to what's happening when he's thinking that, and now she replaces him with another man just as hollow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so right now everything's okay because they're thoroughly in Cersei's pocket, and they're
Well,
also
she
in
thinks
his
that.
pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I really like
Oh, yeah.
that they would have enraged Sir Barristan Selmy.
Boris Blunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when we saw
damn
that Balon Swan was replacing Preston Greenfield, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And then it's like, oh, we're also getting Osmond Kettleblack. And I was like, wait, how did... Oh, apparently Boris Blunt
Just
is so cowardice that as soon as, like, Sir Jacqueline Bywater jumped out, he was like, I'm sorry, take the
Take
prince.
me. Yeah. He's like, okay.
Take the prince, let me live.
I think it's so funny.
And Boris Blunt was a real asshole
He's
earlier.
Sansa
yeah.
thinks of him as the worst.
The worst
of the
one.
Yeah,
Skarsgård.
and so it's so funny now to see him out of the safety of the castle and just be like,
Yeah.
you take it.
Yeah. When he's not beating on
Women.
little
The,
girls.
the
yeah.
thing that frustrates me though about the Kingsguard is like, okay, these are people Robert would have appointed with Barristan's input or not, because like they all kind of suck. And like, what was Barristan Selmy like before he left? Like, these are the people I have to deal with. Like, there isn't one of them that's good to a man.
Well, he even calls them out when he gets.
Well, when he gets
kicked
dismissed,
out.
he's like, I could kill all of you right now with one hand tied behind my back. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like,
Oh yeah, like when they were all being appointed, like what was he doing?
yeah,
Just like these guys suck.
yeah.
And he never,
Yeah.
I mean, he has a low opinion of Jamie when
Exactly.
he's leaving.
But I wonder if Barristan is so knightly to the point where he's like, it's not my place. It's the Kingsguard. He's
Yeah,
gonna
I think
pick,
so.
That's probably exactly
it's-
what it is.
yeah.
And Robert was probably like bribed to. include them.
Yeah.
There's also a new High Septon who Tyrion installed,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and knows that he wants. So when he says, "I want the gods on our side," I don't think he's actually.
No.
But he wants the people
He wants
to
the
believe that
people,
the gods are on
right.
his side. Yes. Okay, and so that's why he spreads the rumor, but probably true, that
Yeah,
Stannis
it's
would
like-
burn the Great Sept of Baelor.
Yeah.
He would.
That
That's
probably
fair.
happened.
I think he
Yeah.
would.
Yeah, he doesn't know that Stannis burned the sept at Dragonstone, but he did.
Mm-hmm. Then he gets the letter from Balon pronouncing himself King of the Owls in the North. You invite.
Yeah. I mean, there's not really.
This
There's
is
more
kind of just checking the
wildfire.
boxes
It's
of
just,
like
it's
plot
just, it's
progression.
just setting the stage for.
Yeah, there's
Blackwater.
more wildfire.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a ton of wildfire.
They
Yeah.
do reference. Is it Aemon Dragon Knight?
It's pr-
Dragonfire?
no, it's bright. Isn't it one? It's Bright Flame or whatever who tried to drink it and turned into a dragon. I don't know.
And then he just burned. And was that the same? No, that was not the same. Summerhall. That was not
No,
the
that
cause
was
of
not
Summerhall.
Summerhall.
Yeah, that was different.
Wait. What?
The guy who drank wildfire
Mhm.
to turn to a dragon,
Mhm.
but instead just burned.
Mhm.
That wasn't the Summerhall incident.
Yeah, which was different.
Wasn't that the same thing though?
No.
That happened?
They were trying to do something
Oh.
to birth
That we
dragons,
don't
but we don't know
know.
what it was.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
kind of a mystery.
Mm.
The fucking alchemist and his annoying ass talk. I can't even imagine on the audiobook. Certain spells. Ancient spells of our orders. Yeah.
Like, okay.
But hey, so last chapter that we had the pyromancers, we were like, these guys are full of shit. But here it seems as though they at least have some legitimacy because he's saying certain spells.
Yeah, they're actually working.
Yeah, they're actually working better than they were. You don't suppose there are any dragons about, do you? Yeah, there are. So they must actually be doing some magic if they're seeing the effects of the dragons and the increased magic in the world. So
Yep.
that's interesting. I wonder what type of real magic they're doing.
I think that most of what they do for show is fakery, but that they have this one trick and they've had to pile on the fakery since that trick has been not working very well. But
Is that one trick making wildfire,
yeah,
which they do magically?
I think so.
I mean,
I
magic
think the
to make
spells
it
are
I think
real.
they can do it chemically, and it's just enhanced magically. That's
That
why
makes sense.
they're like, we can make more of it now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they could still make it.
I wonder how that actually works out. Because is it just 2 ounces of something? You know, you put all the ingredients in, it usually produces 4 ounces of wildfire, and it's suddenly like, oh, it's 10. How did that happen?
They probably just get a better yield.
Yeah. I was wondering if it was like a bread and fish situation where, like, how
I
did
don't
we get
think- I don't
more?
think it's a bread and fish situation.
I just wanted to say that.
Tommen adopted a fawn.
I know, it's so
That's
sweet.
the
Oh,
sweetest little
yeah.
thing. I just want to watch
But
Tommen feed
he
that
had
fawn.
done it before, and Joffrey skinned it for a jerkin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably made Tommen wear.
Oh, God.
Yeah, because he asks about his mother sometimes and often begins letters to Princess Marcella, but his brother, he doesn't seem to miss at all. And that's, I mean, there's a standing theory that Joffrey abuses Tommen.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's pretty,
but yeah,
not a stretch at all.
no.
Yeah. But probably not sexually because Joffrey
No,
seems
some
to be
people theorize
asexual.
that, and I'm like,
Asexual,
no.
Yeah.
No, I think he just beats him.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, they find out there's some Stannis loyalists called the Antlermen that Joel tried to reference one time a few weeks ago, and we were all like, "What the fuck?" Are you
Oh,
talking
that's
about?
right.
Oh,
He
I
made
did?
an Antlermen joke or reference, and we were like,
Like,
"What?"
who are you? What?
Because
Yeah.
But it's
I forgot about.
Stannis
They end up getting.
loyalists.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to end well for them.
Yeah.
Nope.
what?
Chelsea's little nope.
Nope.
So
Alright.
this chapter was really about
Plot.
securing the city for battle and putting everything into place.
Securing the plot.
yeah.
I miss scheming Tyrion.
It's all right. We need to move something. Look at how little is left, man.
I know. I'm
The
excited.
battle's coming.
We're gonna have some long book clubs next couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Now, for everyone's favorite character that starts with the letter T, right?
Hey, I enjoyed
Tommen?
this chapter.
Tommen chapter.
Is there Tommen
so
point of
Till we get to
view?
the Tommen POV.
Oh my God!
This
Is it just like
great.
I love cats?
I love
Pretty much.
cats.
It's just written from the perspective of a child. It's just.
Yeah.
It's just crayon. It's not words.
I don't like beets. I will outlaw beets, which she tries to do, and it's fucking cute. I love Tommen.
And you love beats, so that's
I
saying
do
something.
love beets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beets are good.
Beats by Tommen.
All right. Theon 4. This is the chapter in which Theon discovers he wakes up all naked and he discovers that, oh no, there's no wolves
Yeah,
howling. and
you idiot.
there's
They're gone.
You
Yeah.
didn't guard the most valuable captives in the castle.
Right, this shouldn't have been so easy
yeah.
for them.
You're a
It's
fucking
kind of
dumbass.
amazing.
He's the worst.
He's
just
thinking the entire
absolute worst.
chapter, and he knew too. But for me, it's like he couldn't bring himself to actually kill the wolves because he's like killing a part of himself. He just, it's all half measures with Theon.
You should have killed the wolves.
You guys know how much I
Should've
can't
killed
stand that.
Hodor.
Yeah.
Like, Theon should have killed a lot of people when he took over. But he's just too stuck in between, like, the noble Starks and the ruthless Ironborn. And he
Yeah.
takes, like, not enough from either of them.
Yeah, no half measures.
Yep, and then he goes to hunting. And it's the saddest hunting trip I've ever seen. And finally it ends with Reek being like, oh, hey, I have an idea.
Oh,
I
yeah.
brought some little boy clothes.
Yeah. It's weird that Reek knew to bring those
He
clothes.
had that plan all along, yeah.
Which is, I don't know, it's creepy. That he's like, I know how this is gonna end.
Oh, Javier brought a good point. Sorry, this is for the last chapter, but the Antler Men are people that Littlefinger wants to get rid of. That, like, I think we get more of that later.
We do.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Littlefinger.
For-
Where's he? He's still... Is he just gone until Blackwater?
Wait, Littlefinger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Wait,
gone.
what'd you say about him and the Antler Men?
Yeah. He's setting up those guys to die.
Oh, he set them up?
Maybe?
We don't get that. We don't get that in Clash.
It might be further on.
Yeah.
There's a thing.
I feel like for who Theon thinks he is and wants to be at the beginning of this chapter, this is how life should be. He is in Eddard Stark's bed. He has replaced Eddard Stark. He thinks he's just as good or even better than he ever was.
Yep. He's having sex.
Yeah.
I would love to ask the chat, when Theon crosses to the window and throws open the shutters, that seems very familiar to me, and I'm wondering if that's the same language used in game in that scene with Catelyn and Ned after
Yeah.
they make love.
Yeah.
I feel like he dismounts, as you will, and goes to
Oh,
the shutters
God.
and throws them open, equally naked. There you go.
I feel like what Theon is. Oh, let's resolve this first.
No, go ahead and talk. While we
Okay.
look up.
I feel like what Theon is doing is like if one of us went back to our high school where we were bullied or like maybe treated pretty well, but we thought it was bad. It's a boarding school, and we just take over as principal and make everything shitty for everyone.
Yeah.
Don't you like this? Why aren't you guys friends with me, Nan? I don't get it.
Yeah, it is kind of pathetic to just watch him be like, this is gonna be awesome. This is everything I've ever wanted, and then it sucks.
Good.
And
Fuck
like,
Theon.
yeah,
He does think a lot
it's
about Ned.
very, it's a little Trump-like in that he's like, think about it. He's like, I'm gonna be head of Winterfell. I'm gonna be king in the north, and he's just
Surround
like,
myself with the best
and it's gonna be
Ironborn.
amazing. And he's like, why doesn't anyone respect me? And he gets so pissed that no one takes him seriously and no one likes him.
And then he ruins everything.
And then he ruins everything. Yeah.
Oh, we also get the fulfillment of the final person that Jojen Green saw die, Septon
Oh.
Chal.
Yeah.
They threw down a well.
They threw him down a well.
sauce.
That's a bad way to die.
And that just taints the water for everyone else.
Yeah, why would you?
That's true. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, you have to like pull him up.
Yeah.
You'd think the others might be grateful he hadn't chosen one of them, but no. Yeah, you chose their holy man. to
Yeah,
throw down.
I like that he thinks his weird twisted logic is they should be so happy I didn't pick them.
Yeah, to throw down a
Weirdo.
well. Ugh.
Most of what he's doing here is Stark ways of doing things, acting on Hunter's instinct, whipping the men who raped the kennel girl Paula. These are Stark ways of being, not Ironborn actions. And when he lectures Urzen about the mistake he made, or just how someone would think, and Urzen not getting how to defend a castle like this, he's lecturing them from a Stark point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't. But he's doing it in such an Ironborn manner. He's being a physical bully. He's pushing him. He's grabbing
Yeah.
him by the throat.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like that's all that he's learned from his Ironborn upbringing.
I
Like,
think-
that physical dominance is the way to control people. You know.
Yeah, I think that having a long paragraph about tactics is not so Ironborn. It should have just been all action.
Like I said, he's stuck between these two ways of living, and he doesn't take enough from either to be successful. And he knows it too, because
Yeah.
there are several things that he says. Let's see. It's better to be seen as cruel than foolish on 728. Then on 730, when he's talking about how mercy is a trap, too much and they call you weak, too little you're monstrous. Force and fear could carry you only so far. So it's like back to thinking like a Stark. And then later, it is better to be feared than laughed at, which is more of like an Ironborn thing, like that pride. So he's just so mixed up.
But-
this guy is so confused.
But I don't even think that like something like it's better to be feared than laughed at. I don't even
That's
think
not a
that's
Stark thing.
Ironborn. Like, because an Ironborn wouldn't even think that a possibility. Like,
be
I think
laughed at,
this
yeah.
is Theon creating his own maxims out of him having no identity other than Theon.
Yeah.
He's struggling so much by living between worlds that he's creating his own awful world within his own head, and he's trying to make sense of it with like, but I have to do this so that they like me. But if I do this, they won't. But if I do it this way, then these people won't like me. And he's so concerned, again, like Trump, like with people
liking him.
liking him.
Yeah. He's
Because
obsessed.
like the point where you pointed out on the top of 730, too little and you're monstrous. Yet the Maester had given him good counsel. He knew he still doesn't want to kill Maester Lewin because but he gave me good counsel and I don't want to like he might still treat me right. He might still like me. You know, it's just
Yeah, and it's like you
can't-
know that they don't. Like you know that Nan's looking at you like a stranger,
yeah
and that these people hate you now
yeah
with good fucking cause, dude.
yeah.
He also one thing I love is Osha. I should have known better than to trust that one. She's unnatural as Asha.
Yeah.
Even their names sound
Yeah.
alike, which is funny because in the show they change Asha to Yara
Yeah.
because of that, because their names sound too similar. So
That was a network note.
I also would like to point out the many, many times that Theon thinks of women solely in terms of sex.
Oh yeah.
He thinks of Sansa as like,
yeah, I
oh,
could've
she was a
married
pretty
her.
little thing,
Yeah.
and by now likely even ripe for bedding.
Yeah.
He had not. In truth, he had scarcely considered the Mudmen at all, beyond eyeing Mira once or twice and wondering if she was still a maiden.
Dude, calm
He
down.
talks about, like, at the village, he thinks about how, like, oh, yeah, I fucked the old mill wife. He had even tumbled the
tumbled
miller's
her,
wife a time
yeah.
or two.
And even just using the women as bargaining chips, like, I keep your daughter safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I keep your daughter safe from those rapists.
Yeah.
Where was...
Well, in the beginning of the chapter, he thought that he'd roll Kira on her back and fuck her again, and that ought to banish these phantoms. So just using her as an object to make him feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
it's even in just his obsession with sex. It's even in his description of Reek. He says his lips look like two worms fucking.
Right? This
Ah.
guy can't think
Like
of
he's
anything but
one
sex.
note.
Yeah.
And it's all power dynamics. Like it's all control and like he values himself so much as this like sexual dynamo that if I feel like
Yeah,
the
it's
thing
sad.
that would crush him the most is if he had sex with somebody and she was like, meh,
Yeah.
I've had better.
Yeah, fucking Theon, man. Theon the Thirsty, as Gunnar Loper says.
Yeah.
Ugh, Reek.
You're eyeing Mira once or twice.
It's gross.
Yeah.
So this hunting expedition they go on, I thought
Such a
knowing
disaster.
how things turn out could be a little bit boring, but I appreciated that we get into the details of how to track and why the river is problematic and why that there are no tracks coming back from the river means that that Hodor and the rest of the people didn't go that way.
Yeah, but they did go some of the way, because they tracked some people footprints. So what happened here? How did they...
I don't know.
I know that at some point they sent the wolves off, but then how did they backtrack to Winterfell without...
Do they just like walk backwards on their footsteps a bunch of ways and then like shoot off in a different direction?
It's so weird, because like they had the time to do that. I don't know.
Yeah. I wonder if we get explanations for it later and I just don't remember. You know?
I think
Yeah.
later they do explain how.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Javier's saying that Theon bedded the miller's wife, like I point out, so the
younger
kids
kid.
could be his.
Could be.
That's fucked up. 50 Shades of Greyjoy. Get out of here, Ethan, you old slut. Any last thoughts on Theon?
It's just further like he's just the worst. I have no sympathy for Theon. In the 5 books that we have so far, he's done nothing to make me be like, "Oh, you're on the way. You're on your way to coming back."
Yeah. He's kind of the worst.
He deserves everything.
But also-
he gets.
No one deserves.
No one
Well,
deserves
I
at least
don't
what
know.
happens to him in the show.
I'm not gonna make moral judgments here.
How does Reek have such foresight to bring clothes with him? Does he just have a hunch that they're not going to find
I think
the kids?
I think he sees Theon's failure and presumes that he will continue to fail.
and just is like, he's like, I got a plan that's pretty cool.
And I think that the fact that he's even disguising himself as Reek shows that Ramsay has pretty serious foresight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
You know, so that's show Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also get at the end of this chapter, when they've brought Walder Frey along, him spouting the paranoia that the Freys have about the Crannog men.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
we get a little more about Theon remembers that Maester Lewin spoke about the what's their name? What's their last name?
The
Reeds?
Reeds?
The Reeds.
Yeah.
And how that they were close to the children of the forest.
I also really like the line, Mo Kalen sits on the edge of the bogs. Lord Holand could make your uncle's occupation a visit to hell if he chooses. But so long as you hold his heirs, he must stay his hand. And that's exactly, like the Walders are right. Like, the Crannog men are like they poison, and they're very guerrilla with their tactics, and they're right outside of Mo Kalen, and that could be bad for Victorian Greyjoy.
Okay.
Cool.
Any thoughts here? Any last thoughts about anything? We actually had pretty good numbers here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks
Yeah,
everyone
I
for
was
such a
very
late
surprised
live
for a
stream.
late live stream.
Yeah.
I don't want to make this a habit,
No, it's too
No,
late for
it's
us.
too late.
especially
Yeah.
since the next few are going to be long.
That's
ones.
right. Let's talk about the next reading. So it'll be John. What's that, John?
John 6,
All right. Sounds
Page,
like
736.
okay.
wait, 6 you said.
Yeah.
Yes.
736.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. And we're gonna go to. All right. We don't have. These last 2 weeks are gonna be a little
It's
loaded.
gonna be a lot.
These last two though were shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
What about 843?
Nope.
No?
That's too much.
No. It has to be a little bit more.
Has to be more.
Mhm. Sorry. It has to go to 851.
Which is
That is very very short chapter. Sansa 6. Because that will mean that our last reading will be from 852 to 969. So that'll be what?
a little over 100,
117, and this week is
20, a little under.
115. So yeah, that's what it evens out to.
Okay.
Sorry guys. Blame Donald Trump. Sorry. But I mean, if you had already done your reading, like good
You're
students,
ahead.
then you're ahead
Mm-hmm.
for next week's reading. Yeah, we will finish Clash in 2 weeks. It'll be awesome. It'll be great. And then,
And then a
we'll
week
take
off.
a week off.
And then we'll dive into Storm.
And then we'll dive into Storm, and that will not be done in 10 weeks.
No.
That's
No.
a much larger book. Let's hope 15, maybe.
Oh my god, it's that much longer.
It's much longer.
Maybe.
It's at least a couple hundred pages.
Stormrider asked if we plan on continuing book club with a new series after this one's done. One, this is going to take forever because we still have
It'll be
3 more.
2018.
Yeah, and 2, probably not. We like to read, but like, I don't even know what
Well,
the
there-
channel's going to be doing at
Yeah,
that
we
point.
can't
Yeah, it's
make
hard
that
to
decision
say.
now.
Yeah, but like, we don't know anything like we know Game of Thrones. Like, we are so
Love
obsessed
Game
with
of
this series.
Thrones.
I'm proud of our literary analysis.
Yeah, I love what we
could
do.
any book. I'm not worried about talking about a book for 2 hours.
Well, then petition us in a year and a half, and maybe we'll do something. But yeah, get hyped for Storm. No, well, don't get hyped yet. We still have 2 weeks left on Clash, which I have enjoyed thoroughly.
I like.
Yeah, I'm loving
Yes,
Clash.
yes.
It's a good time.
I have enjoyed Clash as well. It's been much more enjoyable than Game, which is such a straight adaptation
Mm-hmm.
that it's almost boring.
We might have to pause the show when What's on the Box comes back.
We should.
We should, just
Yeah,
for sheer time, reading
we can't
and the
make
broadcast.
That time
Yeah,
commitment.
yeah.
We'd be live streaming from 1 until midnight.
Oh yeah, because we do the after show.
Yeah.
And also the
Yeah.
reading and editing time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
so-
editing time.
Huh. That's gonna be all 3 of us.
Yep.
Since we have 3 computers.
We'll see
Yeah.
if I can help in any way, guys. I mean, maybe it's just back rubs.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Okay. But that's far off.
Yeah.
In the meantime, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you share this channel and videos with other people. Have them subscribe. We have a lot of things coming up. It's just a lot at once. So that's why it's been slow on the channel. But when it breaks,
There's gonna be like a ton of
Awesome.
stuff.
February is gonna be
everybody
great.
who's a fan of book club is going to really enjoy
Oh, yeah.
the fruits of this labor.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think.
'cause
We're
we have
working
Power
on
Hour.
so many things at once right now.
Yeah, it's insane.
Somebody earlier in the chat said Piet Pre on Power Hour.
Oh my god.
Oh, that would be there's a role for Ross.
Yeah, there we go.
And if anyone's into horror movies, you'll get double the excitement
Mm.
from my personal channel that I feel like you two are probably loathe at this point because it takes up so much of my time.
It is a little upsetting.
I'm sorry.
I respect it. I'm never going to tell you not to do it. But at the same time, I just want to get drunk Star Wars out.
Well, if you're into horror movies, you're going to have a great time. But even if you're not, there's so much to look forward to. Check out links in the description for ways to support us.
Yes.
Audible, Practical
Yes.
Folks will get you a free, the code Practical Folks will get you a free book. And
Patreon, there's a link in the Patreon to our Patreon in the description below. For as little as $1 a month, $12 a year, you can make a huge contribution to the success of our channel. Pretty much everything you see before you that's not Game of Thrones paraphernalia or my computer itself was
Is that,
purchased through all the cables.
Yeah,
basically
you can't really
cables.
actually see any of this stuff, but that's okay.
We've got a mixer here behind the Dire Wolves. That was a Patreon thing. The camera that we use, the cables that connect the camera to the computer, the light, the backdrop, everything is all thanks to patrons who support the channel. Everything that we get through Patreon goes directly to supporting the channel, improving the quality of things in the channel. We do not make a profit from it yet.
Yeah.
no, we do not.
We do not make a profit.
We
No,
all have to work
no,
full
no, no,
time.
no.
This is like
gonna be
a
a
project
while.
of
In
the
addition to
heart.
this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you like what we do and want us to do more of it or do it better, click the link in the description below to become a patron. Thanks.
So yeah, next week we'll read those chapters, and
That's
until
so
then,
Dig in,
But
guys. Next
isn't
week's gonna be
The
a big
last
one.
chapter's Blackwater, isn't it?
I think it's Tyrion getting knocked down at Blackwater, but he gets up
I'm
again.
excited.
You're never gonna keep him down. In the meantime, I'm James.
I'm James.
I'm Chelsea.
I'm Joel.
These are Dire Wolves, and this has been What's in Clash of the Kings.
Chelsea's book face. It's late, guys.
It is late. I'm so tired.
Bye.
I have
Bye.
spaghetti sauce on my
dinner.